3, 2, 1. Holy cow! Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers again. Welcome to another episode of my opposed twin rebuild. This is a 46 cubic inch opposed twin, 21 horsepower engine that I just spent 6 episodes putting together. I would recap it, but I've done so much that it would take an hour to recap it. So just watch the other 5 videos. So anyway, I finally got everything put together. Remind me, there's no oil in here. I'm ready to mount this onto the tractor. I cleaned this part a little bit, and I just got to get the crankshaft pulley ready, slip it over the belt, and hopefully I could just, stuff it on there pretty easily, but it'll take some doing. But I don't know how much I can get done because I'm actually going to get new glasses today. I haven't had new glasses in a couple of years, and now when I'm watching Shameless on Showtime, I'm like, can't really see the words, so. So I have an appointment in a couple hours. Let's see how much I get done. Hopefully I can connect the starter wire, the battery, the throttle and choke cables, the crankshaft pulley to the drive belt and the mower deck belt, and get some engine mounting bolts to put on here, That's always fun. So here I go. I'm going to lift this mamma jamma up, hopefully without dropping it or breaking it. I'm going to show you guys how I line up the muffler. A better view of what I'm looking at over here. Just want to kind of put the muffler about where you think it's going to be. Just drop it in the holes. That's how easy it is. There's no welding or clamping or anything. Just designed to just, the pipes are tapered in a way that it, when you get it in the hole, it just fits. See, just like that. That's it. And I'm gonna line up the holes over here. That's about right. You could kind of see the marks of the original area there. Got the engine mounting bolts here to the side. I never moved them. When I took them out, that's where I put them. There you go. See it right there. Just gonna turn them in with my hands for now. That's one. The right rear one is always in the way of the drive belt tensioner pulley. So you have to engage the brake to get that pulley out of the way for you to fit your fingers through the hole. This is challenging, because there's barely enough room for you to get the bolt through the hole. Barely enough. Yeah, got a couple of threads there. That's good. So I'm going to do the other side. I need to, oh, there's no dipstick. I gotta I gotta install the dipstick too. Dipstick? Cletus, you dipstick!
Cletus, you know what you are? You're a dipstick. A 14-karat dipstick.
What's kind of cool is there's actually quite a lot of space for me to actually use my impact to drive in the engine mounting bolts. I mean, I have to finagle my hands under here, but it sure beats, you know, going bit by bit to get it. Sometimes just the setting it up just to get it to where it needs to be is a pain. I think I have it right here. So check out right there. There we go. I was able to do it with the other one too. It's so cool that there's enough room for me to actually get an impact gun under here, past the rods and the pulleys and all that and the belts, is to get it to the point where I could actually fit this impact gun. What's good about it is because the DeWalt impact gun is so light and small that it's easy to do. Got my last one here. It's the left rear. How about that? I have never done it this way before. I've never used an impact before to get all 4 engine mounting bolts in there, right? Lickety split, without picking up the tractor at all, just from the ground. That was great. So the engine is now mounted on here really well. I have the 5/8 crankshaft bolt that I need to do now. So I've got you on the ground here with my mini tripod. It's very cool how you can get that down there. But, you know, I want to kind of see if I could lift the tractor high enough so that I can get the impact on there. Because tightening the crankshaft pulley is going to be difficult because you almost have to hold it in place for you to do it, you know. Which I could probably do with channel locks. You know what? I'm going to try it. So it's a 5/8. Can't see it. I'm just feeling for it. I'm going to turn it tight until it'll start turning the crankshaft. I've already got the drive belt. See? Okay, so I've got it tight now, and it's turning the crankshaft now. So to prevent the crankshaft from moving, what you can do is you can just take out one of the spark plugs and stick some twine or rope in there to stop the piston from moving. But I don't know, that you could actually break something that way. You know what I mean? So if I'm turning that way, I'm going to turn this way. So I've got some channel locks that I'm going to be placing over the shaft of the pulley just to hold it in place so I can tighten this. As you can see, it's not gripping that well. That's why you want to put an impact in there. You know what? I'm going to try my impact anyway. I'm just going to take that extension off so it might be shorter. So taking the extension off of my thing, I'm just going to feel for it. It looks like because this DeWalt is so small and light, it'll fit. Let's see. That's pretty tight. I know this DeWalt can impact up to about 200 inch-pounds of torque. So that's about the usual measurement that I get. Cool. That was very easy. Make sure I put a dipstick in here. It's got an O-ring in there that clips in. Just give it a pop. Okay, the starter's on the other side, so I'm going to take the starter wire, bring it over to the other side, as I'll bring the camera. Got you on a close-up shot over here. You're going to require two 7/16 wrenches. There's two bolts here, nuts, sorry, 7/16. One that holds basically that assembly on there, and the other one to hold the wire onto the assembly. There's the wire. Just put this nut on here. So when you tighten the outer nut onto the shaft, it's going to want to move unless you have a washer in there, which it does. See how it goes. Sometimes this nut, when you turn it or tighten it, it wants to turn the inner one. You can't turn the inner one because it's attached to a circuit wire on the inside, so it wants to turn. Yeah, watch. Now try turning the C. It wants to turn the inside one. Well, you don't want to turn the inside one, so I grounded this one down to a really thin 7/16, so it holds it there. You take another one, and that way you can tighten it this way by holding this down so it doesn't move. It's got to be somewhat tight because you want a good contact. That's good. So starter is installed. Now we're going to install the throttle and choke cables. We're going to start with the choke cable first. It's the one over here where you pull up. You can see there's a little bit of resistance there. I might have to earl it. So this one goes right here. There's a bottom hole there and a torque screw over here. Loosen the torque screw so you have space to slip this wire in. Tighten it with your hand slightly so it touches, so it holds it there while you adjust. So when this knob over here is down, it should be open. When you pull it all the way up, it should be closed as such. That was perfect. I didn't even plan on that happening, but that works well. I want it to open completely, so that's perfect. It's perfect right there. And I'll take a T20 Torx wrench. I got this set from Sam Sandoval, who's one of my subscribers, very loyal subscriber, very good guy. He does exactly what I do. He sent it to me as a gift. There we go, that's the choke cable. You pull it, choke flap closes. Push it and choke flap opens. Are you guys able to see that? This angle lets you see it. Here's a choke knob, right? You're going to choke it. You pull it, choke plate closes. Push it, choke plate opens. It's perfect. Completely closed, completely open. That's how you do it. I'm going to oil this shaft here because it's kind of rusty. Some penetrating oil from my friends over at Lucas Oil Products. already smooth. Look at that. Like butter. Not butter. Butter. Like butter. Now to the choke cable. The throttle cable. So now we're going to install the throttle cable. Basically, here's the throttle cable. Okay, this is full throttle right here. Belongs over here when you pull it all the way. Basically, we're going to take the Z-bend and stuff it in this most outer hole. At least that's what I remember it to be. Oh, you know what? I think I might have marked it with a magic marker here. See? So I knew that that would be the place to do it. Methinks. So that's pulled all the way. Yes, it is. There's actually a hole, see, through the air cleaner where you can stick your T20 wrench through here. Isn't that ingenious? It's not angled that great though. Yeah, the angle's not that great. So that's full throttle right there. This is low throttle. It's supposed to click though when you push it. Something like that. It doesn't do it on its own. See, it's supposed to click on its own. I don't know why it clicks, but it seems like it's supposed to click. Oh, there we go. So you know what? I'm just going to spray some lubricant in that area. Because it's kind of dry, which is not helping it to click. Got you at this angle here. I'm going to use some Toolbox Buddy. Toolbox Buddy is like WD-40 or, you know, it's a lubricant. It's a Lucas Oil's version of it. So just like WD-40, it doesn't hurt anything. I'm generously just coating the whole thing with some lubricant, you know, and wiping off the excess. Prevents rusting, keeps everything lubricated nicely, and it'll dry and burn up over time. So let's test the throttle now. The angle should let you see. There we go. Perfect. Nice. Gonna attach the breather hose to the bottom of my air filter base. So I've got a little bit of an inconvenience here. I'll tell you why. The tractor that the old opposed twin engine had was a different wiring harness. So being that this engine, the 46, is from Jesse, it was from another LT1000, and the two wiring harnesses do not match. However, I know that this red and orange wire leads to the stator. Okay, this red and orange wire is probably the stator as well. The black wire over here leads directly to the magneto. That's to shut off the engine when you turn the key off. Okay, so this black one is probably going to be this black one here. The red goes to the red, orange goes to the orange. I'll find a matching one off the other engine and splice into this and make it work. The blue one is probably going to be lights, you know, or sometimes they say the orange one is for lights, but the orange one is powered by the stator to the light, so that if you have low throttle, your lights are very dim. If you have high throttle, they're bright, right? but I think the blue one goes directly to a switched battery, so it's when you turn it to the accessory on, you know, you're going to have bright lights all the time with the blue one. But if you want to power it with the stator, you could use the orange one. So it's one of those two. Either way, the only thing you really need to test the engine is the black one to shut it off. So I think I'll just wait a minute. There's another thing I want to tell you guys. I noticed that there was a oil leak in the back here, and I noticed that a couple of streaks of oil was dripping from the back inspection access panel, the rectangle one. So I think the gasket's bad on it, and I didn't change it. I just used the original one, so it's probably not that good. So what I'm going to do is, once I get this started, you know, it's not a bad leak. Luckily, I could just access this panel right here with some sockets, take off the access panel, maybe do an RTV coat around there. And if that doesn't work, I'll have to use my square gasket that I was going to save for something else. We're going to connect the magneto to the, so as you can see, one's longer than the other, so obviously, you know, this one goes here. And this one goes here. Okay, so now we're going to put the flywheel on. Top view. Here is the original flywheel for this machine. You can see where the keyway is. It's over there. This is the battery cable. Get that out of the way. So the keyway is right here. Gonna line it up. Man, that's heavy. I can feel the magnets just drawing it down. I'm gonna have to find a key for that. I've got a bag of spare keys, yeah. I think I've got an original Briggs & Stratton one here, but it's a little bit damaged, so I'm going to use the copy. The copy is the same specs as the original one, however it looks a little bit different. It's a little bit more rounded. Got a little opening here somewhere, there we go. And there it is. There's a key. I'm going to try to stuff it in now. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna. That was easy, right? Find a screwdriver, push it in a bit more. There we go. Now I want to push it in some more. There we go, it's holding. Getting there. Just want to make sure it's all the way down. So I've got a thinner screwdriver. Let's see if we can push it in. Yep. There we go. Now it's flush. It's the flat area. And not at an angle, so it's flush. Gotta make sure, man. These things are important. Bet you don't think about that stuff, dude. Dude. Alright, now... I don't know, was there a cup there? I forget. There's a washer. Great. This goes like that. Where's that nut? You're a nut. No, you're a nut. I'm going to check the threads on this nut because I remember it really wasn't very good. It's not like I have 1 1/4 inch nuts lying around, you know what I mean? You know what? Looks good. Looks okay, not good. There's the 1 1/4. Doing it until this stops moving. As long as it's moving, it's turning. That's pretty tight. What do you guys think? Think that's pretty tight? I think that's pretty damn tight.
Henry, you're crazy. Like talking to yourself.
I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to you.
Well, who am I?
You're my alter ego.
What's an alter ego, Henry?
Alright, never mind. Got these 4 torque screws in here. Tiny. Gotta close this choke. You don't want some dust and leaves flying in there. Because if you get that debris into there, how are you gonna get it out of there, you know? Super tiny torque fit on my 1/4 inch impact. There we go. I wonder if I should have put the other thing on first. I bet you I do. I actually have a engine cover for this, but it needs to be painted, and I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this might go on top of that. Like you put the engine shroud on first, and then this goes on top of it. The plastic one usually is on the top of the engine shroud. The metal one is on the bottom. I think I might have to take this off again anyway. Only one way to find out. I'm going to go in the backyard and go find that thing. Sure hope it's in here. Aha! I don't really like the blue color, you know what I mean? It kind of matches my GT6000, but I might have to paint this black or red. So let's see if my theory was correct, whether or not this plastic grass cage shield thing is supposed to be on top or on the bottom. Let's see if this fits on here with it on. Oh, it does. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. See, you can slip it right through. Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. It's a little scratch. I'll figure it out when it's time to really do it. I also need to put the tins on. Tins that isolate the air from this cover. It's starting to look like a real engine now, huh? Yeah, I think the tins have to be on here because the tins help hold this cover on. The tins have to go on first before I do this. It's alright because I need to paint this anyway. What do you guys think? Red or black? Because I have both, red and black. I think I should paint it red. So, I'm in my backyard now, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand down the rusted spots, grind out all the blue paint, right? I'm going to Bondo the divots and the dents in here, and then I'm going to go over it with primer. I'm sorry, I'm going to sand it all down first. Then I'm going to put primer over it, let it cure, another layer of primer. Then I'm going to put some base coat on it, and then I'm going to put the gloss coat on it, and then I'm going to put another layer of... What are you, crazy? Of course I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to paint it red so it's not blue. Duh. Crazy. You think I am a body shop or something like that? Here we go. It's not the space shuttle, guys. It's just a freaking engine cover, alright? Damn. It might be a little greasy, so maybe the paint won't adhere so well. But like I said, I don't care as long as it's not blue. Blue Manchu. Did you blow Manchu? No, never mind. This is Sunrise Red, one of my favorite colors from the Home Depot line, or sorry, Rust-Oleum line from Home Depot. I could just do black, you know, with that quick color black, 98 cents, but that would require a lot of coats. I really like this color red. It's like true red, you know? And don't say cherry red, because cherry red is actually a darker color, a darker red. There's blood red, which is also a little bit darker. There's fire engine red. This is more like fire engine red. Actually, fire engine red's a little crimson-like. But this is a nice, bright red. You know, I've used this on a lot on my other applications.
Henry, you're overdoing it. It's gonna drip.
It's only an engine cover. I don't care.
Henry, the neighbor's looking at you like you're talking to yourself.
I am talking to myself. No, fellas. That looks pretty damn good, don't you think? And I didn't sand it, grind it, Bondo, primer. So, unfortunately, I gotta stop now because I'm getting close to my eye appointment. So I gotta go see the eye doctor, get an eye test so I can get a new prescription, so I get some new glasses. These glasses I've used for 2 years already. It's starting to get a little blurry, you know, not crispy clear, you know. And I've got like remnants of carb spray, oil, and of course Boba took this and ran around the yard with it in his mouth, so it's all scratched up from his jaws. So I gotta go get cleaned up and take a shower and head on out. Well, we did quite a lot today. We mounted this engine. I did figure out that there is a slight oil leak from the gasket of the rear square access inspection plate, which it's easy to fix. I can just take the plate off and, you know, go over it with some RTV and or maybe use my gasket, you know. But I'm trying to get away with not using the gasket, you know. But I'll figure it out, you know. But before that, you know, it's not a major thing. I could I'll do that later after we see if this thing even runs, you know. Remember, the thing that I'm a little worried about is that there's a connecting rod, the old connecting rod from this, right? It survived the trauma. But it's a little damaged. There's a little crack right where the cap is, but the journal is good, so I'm going to try it, you know. Either way, to me, this was just an experience, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'd love it if this engine ran, you know, but I don't have high confidence it will. And I'm not willing to go out and spend $45 for another connecting rod, because you know, $45, I can go buy another tractor with an engine in it for $45. You know, I can find one. We got the throttle and choke cables attached. We've mounted the bolts onto this. We've lubricated the throttle and choke so they're nice and smooth, right? Awesome. We installed the flywheel with the keyway and the key. I painted my engine cover, which this didn't have, which was probably the reason why it blew in the first place, you know. I have the tins that in my next episode I'll have to attach the tins. We did install the muffler, the exhaust pipes, I'm sorry, to the muffler, the crankshaft pulley, the mower deck belt, The drive belt is all on the pulley. We've tightened the bolt on the pulley to the crankshaft. We installed the starter wire onto the starter. My next episode, I'll have to work on the wiring harness to connect the kill wire as well as the stator wires. We need to install a battery. We need to install that engine cover, the tins, the air cleaner cover, right? There's a heat shield here. I don't know how you're supposed to install the heat shield here because there ain't no hole, see? So I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do self-tapping screws right into the frame or something like that. Just that this is sitting here like that. Because that's all it has to do is just sit there. You know, just let it sit here. No, it's gotta be mounted here somehow. It's to, you know, prevent heat from the pipes affecting the fuel in the carburetor area. You know, I don't even know if this carburetor is going to work. Oh, also we put a couple of spark plugs in here, attached the magneto ignition coil wires onto it. We put the dipstick on. Cletus, you dipstick. And I don't know, man. We're getting close to a startup. I bet you thought I was going to start it up today, huh? I'm sorry, but I'm not going to rush things. Haste makes waste. There's a lot of stuff that I still need to do before we have this thing all together, you know? There's bottom tins and there's side tins. There's head tins and there's the rounded silver color tins that go on the bottom. Black tins go on the sides. Engine cover. So there's still another episode to go before we can try to start this thing. I gotta tell you, I'm pretty nervous about starting it. I mean, it might start and run for a second or so, but I think that connecting rod might give way. If there's any signs of it not running correctly, I'm going to shut it off. Just in hopes of saving it. But you know what? I don't know what it'll do. But either way, eventually I will have to change that gasket on that rear access panel. Thank goodness you're able to do that here with this engine model type, you know. But that was today's episode. Thank you very much for following me again on this episode. I guess it's episode number 7 or 8, my goodness, you know, just to get this engine together. But I tell you what, you know, it's a learning experience for me, and hopefully it's a learning experience for you. If any of you guys are out there trying to rebuild a 46 cubic inch Briggs opposed to an engine, I pretty much did everything there is to do about research and how to get the rods in and putting it together from just a block of metal, you know. So, sort of proud of myself that I've, you know, taught myself how to do this, you know, from help from you guys as well, the interwebs. I'll see you fellas next time on Mowers and Blowers. Hey guys, support my channel, buy a sticker. Also follow me on Instagram at Mowers Blowers. Check out my website, mowersblowers.com. See you guys on the next one. Have a great day.
Hey Henry, see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.